Sasha, good to see you. Welcome to Popternative.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You know, whenever it's something that's adapted, like this film is so tension driven and the book is tension driven. And I always find that interesting, like the relationship between the original source material and like the movie, right? Because it's not the novel, it's the film. So what is your relationship from an acting storyteller perspective with the book? Are you like leaving it alone a little bit? Are you going back? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. I love it. So I both with Pretty Little Liars and this movie, I was told to kind of not read the book
Mhm.
because not only are they very different, but you could maybe not make something original when it could have that opportunity. I love Adele, and I think she's brilliant, and I think this book is brilliant. But I love that they're different.
Mhm.
There's different flavors there. The ending's different. There's a lot of things that are unique to the film, and I think that's important because if you love the book, you're expecting something. You're expecting that same storyline, and so when it's different, it kind of captures something new and unique. And I think those people that love the book are going to love the movie. Adele makes it easy to fall in love with these characters, as toxic as they are,
Mhm.
and I think everyone's just in for a fun ride.
100%. And it's interesting because I'm just curious, depending on the auditions, like sometimes they tell you a lot about the project you're gonna get yourself into, and sometimes they tell you nothing. I mean, I would hope that you had an idea that maybe you were gonna be playing two characters in this movie.
I got sent the script, and I got sent the script, and I was like, huh, I feel like I'm gonna know what happens in this.
Yeah.
And I read it, and I was floored by the twist. Because I'm not normally surprised. I usually can kind of pick up on those things and be like, okay, I see what's gonna happen here.
No.
And I didn't. And I couldn't stop thinking about it because two different characters, obviously so fun. It'd be such a, fun opportunity as an actor. And I also just started picturing how I would film those scenes. I
Yeah.
just kind of got obsessed with it. And I knew that, okay, this is something that I really want to do.
Yeah.
And it was just so fun to create two different people, and playing those people side by side was just a great challenge. And I'm so glad that I did
And
it.
you are so good in this. Like, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate
Um,
it.
it's so interesting to me, this kind of journey from like reading a script and then going to camera, because so much happens before, whether it's a TV show or film, so much happens before you actually go to camera on a project before that. So I'm just wondering, in a lot of ways, like maybe from an acting storyteller perspective, you see it as like two separate journeys before filming and after filming, or does it feel like one kind of big journey with multiple steps in between?
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players. There's a lot of work that goes into production before you even start filming it,
Mhm.
before I even get there. So kudos to our crew for being just so incredible and so dedicated to this project.
Mhm.
And I think we all thankfully aligned on what we wanted this to be,
Mhm.
but everything changes on set.
Yeah.
Even from the way that you think a scene is going to work. You get on set and you're like, that blocking doesn't feel right. Let's change it. Or that line doesn't sound right as a response. Let's find an alternative that feels more natural and realistic. And so I think those things just kind of evolve, and the end product might not be exactly how it was pictured, but usually it feels better because of that. So yeah, the page versus the production in the beginning versus your actual product is very different. And to get to be involved in something like that is just really cool, especially with the
100%.
characters like this that are such a huge part of the movie. Everybody needs to be on the same page as much as possible to make it believable, for people to be, immersed in it. Two characters in particular, making
Yeah.
you believe that's the case. From twin tech to actually, the acting part, both things are major players in that.
100%. And the follow up question to that is like, how does it, like, what kind of movie does it read as, like, script wise? And then, kind of, when you start filming it, does it feel like the movie you kind of read? Like, does it feel like thriller? Does it feel a little bit different, like, while you're actually going to camera? Like, how does it read compared to, like, how it felt like filming?
I think in that way it's fairly similar.
Yeah.
The way that it's written is you kind of want to feel like you're watching a rom-com in the beginning. You're like, oh, these two people like
Yeah.
falling in love, how sweet
Yeah. No.
that's for Anna. And then it takes this like toxic turn, and
Mhm.
that's where it's so fun. I think at first you're like, oh, I like Anna. I like that she's, getting something that she wanted. She's a hopeless romantic.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, everything gets broken apart. And I love that. I love that we get that thriller aspect, that you get that, fun, toxic aspect. You don't want that in someone's real life, but when you see it on screen, it's so entertaining. And I think we captured that. And I think because of that, you get the flavor of both. I think everyone would kind of enjoy it. Like if you like any of those genres, if you like action, if you like horror, if you like, there's something for everybody in here.
And the best part is, it's so amazing that you brought that up, because I'm a big horror movie guy, and I'm also creative as well. I just wrapped a short horror film that I wrote and produced. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. But like the horror movie fans, they love everything. They love the thrillers. They love the sci-fi. Like it's so crazy. Like it's like they'll watch it all. Like that's what I was thinking. I was watching this. I'm like, horror movie fans are gonna love the image of you. Like I was thinking about that the whole time.
That makes me happy. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. And it's so true. Like that genre, there's so much that can happen in those genres, but like you want it all. You want something different. You want, a lot of those, like an iconic flair to why people love that genre. You want to see it. And I think we achieved that. I think people will understand that and get it. And that's kind of a testament to everybody, especially Adele, because Adele Parks is the writer. This is her story. It was incredible. It was really fun what she created, that environment. And we wouldn't have that movie, that flair, if it wasn't for her and her story to begin with.
100%. And, I did have to ask, because, it's one of those things where, being an actor or storyteller, one of the coolest things about it is diving into all these different worlds. You were able to dive in one of the biggest kind of universes with Pretty Little Liars. That is a universe that is never going away, that kind of has all those elements we talked about and everything. How separate are like past projects compared to new projects like you? Like, do you bring things from Pretty Little Liars from a mindset perspective, like to something like this, or are they really separate?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think some of it has to be subconscious. I think that Zoe is very, very similar to Allison. And I kind of seen that in comments too. When people watch the trailer, it was like, oh, it's a badass grown up Allison. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like putting somebody on, because I would hope that I'm not like Allison and Zoe in real life. But you don't get to be that person often. And both Allison and Zoe were just so confident, so powerful in the way that they controlled people and their sexuality, and the way that they moved, the way that they just, I don't know, the way that they walked around. You don't encounter people like that all the time. So to get to play that, and then to kind of get to play that, it's like a yin and yang sort of situation. Absolutely. I think Anna was, if we're going to compare it to Pretty Little Liars, she was like that softer, renewed side of Allison at the end. And so both. But I would like to say that, as much as you bring elements, you also want to establish new people. And I think for PLL lovers, if they watch this movie, I think they're going to get the satisfaction of the character that they really loved to watch growing up, or now, if they're new viewers. But it's a sexier, more adult ride. And I think in that way, they'll be satisfied.
I'm sure you hear things like this all the time, and it's been a long time ago, so I don't care if I'm spoiling or anything, but it's been out for a while, but like my university lost it with the reveal. Everybody lost it. Like it was, I think you swerved a lot of people. I'm sure, I feel like that was like crazy to be part of, because everyone's reactions, everyone lost it.
Totally. Well, if we felt a lot of pressure with that reveal too. And I remember it distinctly. It was a Fraturday is what we call it, which is when we're filming on Friday, but we end at a ridiculous time on Saturday morning. And it was the last scene that we shot that night. And there was a lot of anticipation and nervous energy. But the weather was perfect. It felt it felt iconic filming it. Yeah. And so the fact that the response was correct and that people really responded to it so well, it was so rewarding. And I think it was rewarding for the audience too. It was like, oh, we have it. We have that satisfaction and oh, fuck, what now? What happens now? And so it really is, it's really fun to be a part of something so iconic like that. Like you 100%. Said, thank you. I humbly, I say thank you for saying that it will never go away, because it is one of those things where I'm happy that it will live on. I'm proud of it.
Got a secret, got to keep it. We know. We already know. The Image of You is going to be, there's tons of ways they can watch it soon. May 10th, it's going to be in select theaters. It's going to be able to be to buy on digital as well. May 10th, they can check that out. Sasha, so great chatting with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Wise, I really appreciate it. And good luck with everything. Congratulations on your project.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.